The creator of Audiojack, David Tobin, visited Perkins School for the Blind to give a lecture and work with students. This is an excerpt from a session that was broadcast live, in which blind students work to create their own Audiojack. Follow along and discover how blind and sighted listeners are able to create the same story when using Audiojack.
And we'll talk a little bit about what we've created.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Let's talk about that. So what we've done here is we've put together, an Audiojack that is allowing us to, really kind of experience something that we've all created. We all kind of chimed in about hey, let's start off with, the woods. And then we went into, and I'm just looking at the files here that we have in here. It started off with the forest at night, and then, we added some footsteps. At first they were a little too slow. And then we got them kind of stepping in and then a little bit faster. And then, how about some horses? Mm-hmm. And then we got the horses and then a little bit of dog in the background, and then you wanted him to go faster. And so now we've taken our character, and it's a he, we've all decided on this one, right? Is that the consensus? Mm-hmm. It is a he?
It sounds like a guy.
Heavy footsteps at first. So.
The heavy footsteps? Yeah. And then you wanted a gunshot to pop into play. And so you did that, and you built this into here, and we have a gunshot, and then we have...
Oh, very funny. Gunshot, pop.
Yep, and then it whizzed by, and then some water, and then, we got the river in here. So now let's listen to it one last time here and really kind of take in what we've put together. And I think this will work with my volume off, but it might not. Let me see. There we go. So here's our man. Not in current time. Take out that airplane.
You don't know that.
You know what I just realized? That the horses sound like they're flopping on cobblestone, and the man sounds like he's in the woods.
Waiting for someone to pick up on that. So that changed your perception of where he's at?
Yeah, like he kind of...
It could be on like a dirt type road or something.
It didn't sound like cobblestones as much as dirt road in my mind, but you're right.
And they're in the distance.
They're not running on the same surface as him.
Right. But they wouldn't be. Right? Because if he was running on the same surface, he'd be out in the open.
They might not have missed
Or he
it.
could be in the forest, and they could be running through the forest. So now, what does your scene look like? Is he off the road and they're kind of by in the distance and they spot him?
Yeah.
That's how I picture it.
By the water?
Could be a field too, because it sounds like grass. Not really any sounds
I
of
thought
trees.
it-
Is it a big field?
But then he's right. If it's a field, then the horses probably should sound a little different.
But he could be in the field and they could be not in the field yet.
I always thought it was like in the woods because it sounds like the leaves that are in the woods, and he's like rambling through the woods.
Well, let's make a little change to this now, audio-wise. I'm going to lower the gunshot sound, and make it sound like it's more in the distance now, and the horses too, and see if that changes your perception on where he's at.
Yeah, and I hear dry, tall grass. It could be just maybe
Yeah.
around this time of year.
I do hear that as well.
You're right.
I hear like dry leaves.
Definitely there were leaves.
All right, so here we go again with this.
I was picturing this time of year.
And like the cicadas. I hear those all the time in the woods.
Now he hears it off in the distance. Remember, it's still evening as well, too.
Okay, that sounds cool.
You like the water, huh?
Come on, we gotta splash. I feel like we gotta end it.
Yeah, we'll go splash here for you. Yeah, to me, it sounds like maybe he's off in a field, and he, is out in the middle of. Let's try this splash. He's out in the middle of a field, and then they, spot him off in the distance, and they're coming out there. He hears them running. He's ahead of them, and that's them off maybe on the dirt further away, and they're not at the grass yet, perhaps. How's the splash? Or too much like a rock hitting?
The second one sounded like it was too much. He was throwing something in.
Okay.
This one sounded more like. That sounds like he's walking.
Okay. Oh, it's a diving board. Never mind.
Totally different story.
Nope. Or
That works.
That's not.
That works.
That's better.
that one? Okay, so we'll add that one, and that
Dramatic enough.
will be him jumping into the river, which would be right about here.
I always thought it sounded like woods. That's why I thought.
Matt, do you remember how many kids?
But
were
there's
not
fields
listening
and
to this
rivers and woods, but remember, it's we're creating the story, but people
What
listen to
period
it
is it?
might all imagine something just a little bit differently.
Absolutely. Okay. So let's see what this sounds like. I really don't know what it's going to sound like, but we'll just
6.
go with
You have
it
to go back out, right?
really
Yeah,
quickly.
It's 11:30 right now.
Okay, we gotta go.
All right, hold on. Here's the end of it then, for our finale that you guys wanted to put in. We'll go from the gunshot, and it's about 10 seconds. Now he's running.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, I know. Those were a little left on from the last one. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go next. How long was that whole thing now?
That whole segment is a minute and
How about that?
7 seconds.
How about that?
About
It's only
minute.
a minute
Think about
and
what you could do in a half an hour.
The whole thing is minute 8 seconds roughly.
How about that?
But it makes you feel like you've experienced much
Right.
more.
Absolutely.
And much more time has passed.
And now let's take a listen to their Audiojack.